The story begins with two young missionaries, Sister Bamboo and Sister Paxson, their innocence tainted by the grotesque discussions of carnal desires and sordid films. For those unfamiliar, Mormons are the emissaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And these sisters, bold and timid in equal measure, venture into a world that largely scoffs at their beliefs. Their youthful faces, perhaps no older than 20, mask the unsettling reality of their mission as they confront modern youth who are often indifferent to the whispers of faith. Their journey leads them to the doorstep of Mr. Reed, where they lock their bicycles, unaware of the darkness that awaits them beyond the threshold. In the dim light of his home, Mr. Reed found himself ensnared by the curious sisters, Bamboo and Paxson, who sought to draw him into the folds of their faith. Their initial conversation was laced with a friendly veneer, and Mr. Reed, eager for company, welcomed them inside. However, the sisters, bound by the strictures of their church, hesitated at the threshold, insisting that a woman must be present in the house of a man. Mr. Reed assured them that his wife was busy within, crafting blueberry pies, a detail that sent the sisters rushing through the door as the first flakes of snow began to swirl outside, cloaking the world in a chilling embrace. Once inside, the atmosphere shifted. Mr. Reed took their coats, offering them warmth, and poured drinks that glimmered ominously in the low light. As they settled into the cozy confines of his home, the conversation took a dark turn. Mr. Reed's words twisted and coiled like smoke, revealing a mind grappling with unsettling thoughts. He spoke of his quest for a singular truth in religion, only to be interrupted by a haunting image of Sister Bamboo's lifeless form. Paxson, sensing the tension, attempted to steer the dialogue back to safer shores, but Mr. Reed's fixation on the past was relentless. He launched into a disjointed history of Mormonism, recalling its polygamous roots with a manic fervor, as if the very essence of the faith was a grotesque joke. The sisters defended the practice, citing a time when the world was sparse and desperate for growth. But Mr. Reed's ire was directed at Joseph Smith, the founder, whom he blamed for the church's evolution. In a bizarre analogy, he likened religions to fast food chains, each one a mere commodity to be sampled and discarded. Just as one might flit between McDonald's and Burger King, Mr. Reed confessed to hopping from one faith to another, his soul a restless wanderer in a landscape of spiritual fast food. The air grew thick with an unsettling tension, as if the walls themselves were listening, waiting for the next revelation to spill forth from his lips. Mr. Reed proclaims that every faith claims to be the singular truth, yet upon deeper scrutiny, such assertions crumble into dust. The sisters felt a chill of offense at his words, and to ease the tension, Paxson O'Bannon suggested a meeting with Mr. Reed's wife. As Mr. Reed ventured to fetch her, his body language betrayed a chilling disconnect, as if she were a ghost haunting the very halls they stood in. She too was a wife, but her presence felt like a distant echo. In a moment of eerie foresight, Paxson had once declared that upon her death, she would return as a butterfly, fluttering around her loved ones, landing delicately on their fingers to signal her presence. This notion may seem nonsensical now, but it will weave itself into the fabric of their fate. As Mr. Reed disappeared into the shadows of the house, Bamboo's senses were assaulted by the scent of blueberry pie wafting through the air. A sickening realization dawned. Mr. Reed's wife was likely not baking, for she was probably never there at all. The aroma emanated from a mere scented candle, a sinister lure crafted by Mr. Reed to ensnare them. Bamboo's heart raced with the urge to flee, but the main door stood locked, a barrier forged by unseen hands. Their coats, containing the key to their escape, lay in Mr. Reed's possession. When Reed returned, Bamboo hastily concocted a tale of a church call, feigning urgency. Yet the truth loomed heavy. The sisters' phones had no signal, a cruel twist of fate. Mr. Reed's voice dripped with malice as he informed them that the main door was on a timer, sealing them in until dawn. The sisters would have to find their way out through the back, where shadows danced and whispered secrets awaited. In the dimly lit room, the sisters found themselves ensnared within Reed's twisted sanctuary, a space eerily reminiscent of a church prayer room. The air was thick with an unsettling tension as Paxson and Bamboo grasped the chilling truth. Reed was ensnaring them in his web. When Reed returned their coats, a sinister twist emerged. Paxson held the bike lock key, a remnant of her earlier encounter with the bamboo stick, now a symbol of their entrapment. The atmosphere grew heavier as Reed confronted them, revealing the metallic barriers embedded in his walls, designed to suffocate their cries for help. "You can't call for aid," he sneered, "which means you're deceiving me." Fear gripped the sisters, and in a desperate bid for survival, they demanded to meet his wife. Reed's laughter echoed, a hollow sound that sent shivers down their spines. "You still cling to the notion of her existence, despite the evidence suggesting otherwise. It's akin to blind faith in a deity, a belief in a religion that holds no weight." Bamboo, fueled by a surge of defiance, declared her intent to escape through the back door. But as she swung it open, dread washed over her. The passage led to the dark, foreboding basement. Meanwhile, an elder from the church, sensing their absence, ventured into the shadows to seek them out. Back in Reed's lair, he resumed his unsettling monologue, weaving tales of the Parker Brothers Monopoly game, a seemingly innocent board game that had ensnared over 1 billion players across the globe. Yet he twisted the narrative, tracing its origins back to 1907, to a game called The Landlord's Game, crafted by Elizabeth Magee. "A mere imitation," he mused, "lost to time just like the truth of my wife." The sisters shivered, realizing they were mere pawns in Reed's dark game, trapped in a reality where belief and deception danced hand in hand. In the dim light of a flickering bulb, Reed's voice slithered through the air, weaving a tale of games and faith that felt more like a curse than a conversation. He spoke of the Landlord's Game, a shadowy relic of the past, but most souls were familiar with Monopoly, a game that masked its true nature behind colorful squares and plastic tokens. Yet, he insisted, these trivial amusements bore no weight against the grim reality of our existence. Reed's gaze darkened as he delved into the abyss of monotheism, where 3 towering religions loomed: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The oldest, Judaism, was a ghost, haunting the world with a mere 0.2% of followers, while Christianity thrived like a ravenous beast, devouring the hearts of millions. It was a twisted reflection of the games: Judaism, the original blueprint, while Christianity flourished as the most popular variant. Newer faiths crept in like unwelcome expansions, distorting the sacred essence. He likened this to the haunting melodies of songs, where echoes of the past reverberated through time. "The Air I Breathe" by the Hollies, a haunting tune, was but a shadow of Creep by Radio Free, which in turn birthed the insipid Get Free by Lana Del Rey in 2017. Each artist, a thief in the night, claimed their piece of the melody, leading to a cacophony of lawsuits and bitter disputes. Reed's point lingered like a specter. These were mere iterations of the same haunting refrain, just as religions morphed and twisted through the ages, each claiming to hold the truth, while the original faded into obscurity. Reed ominously asserts that the tales of miracles we encounter in various religions, particularly those surrounding Jesus, have echoed through the ages in numerous other faiths. He delves into a multitude of belief systems, revealing 12 deities whose narratives mirror that of Jesus, all of which have lingered in the shadows of history. Reed provocatively suggests that a millennium from now, when the saga of Star Wars is recounted, will its characters be revered as divine figures? He paints a chilling picture of belief on one side and disbelief on the other. He urges Banzo Paxson to make a choice. If she clings to her faith in God, she should step through the door of belief. If her heart has turned cold, she must embrace the door of disbelief. Paxson, desperate to escape the clutches of this eerie place, feigns contemplation, but Bamboo challenges Reed, pointing out that while similarities exist among religions, the differences are stark and undeniable. She accuses Reed of cherry-picking, twisting truths with flimsy metaphors, and declares her unwavering faith in her God. Turning to Paxson, she inquires about her beliefs, and upon receiving an affirmative response, Bamboo confidently selects the door of conviction, beckoning Paxson to follow. However, as they step through, they find themselves not in freedom, but in a dark, damp basement, the second door leading them to the same cursed fate. Reed's game becomes clear, a cruel jest at their expense. Bamboo frantically searches for an escape, her heart pounding in the oppressive silence, until her hand grips a splintered wooden stick, its surface marred by rusty nails, a grim reminder of the horrors that lurk in the shadows. Bamboo stealthily hands Paxson a letter opener, a sinister trophy pilfered from the shadowy confines of the upstairs room. She whispers a chilling promise. When Reed descends into the basement, she will utter the incantation, "Magic underwear." In a frenzied moment, Paxson lunges at Reed with the gleaming blade, ending his life in a flash of crimson. Just then, an eerie woman materializes in the basement, cradling a blueberry pie, her hands folded in a grotesque prayer. Meanwhile, in the upstairs room, Reed is revealed, meticulously crafting a miniature replica of the house, documenting every sinister tick of the clock. His meticulous planning unfolds like a dark tapestry. Soon, he confronts the sisters with a device that allows him to communicate, proclaiming himself a prophet of a newfound faith. As the strange woman consumes the poisoned pie, her breath falters, and death claims her. Yet, in a twist of the macabre, she is destined to rise again, a testament to Reed's twisted beliefs. Just as the miracle is poised to occur, a church elder knocks at Reed's door, seeking the sisters. The doorbell's chime echoes ominously, drowning out the sisters' desperate screams, their pleas swallowed by the house's oppressive silence. Reed, with a facade of innocence, deceives the elder, insisting the sisters are nowhere to be found. The house, ancient and foreboding, reveals its secrets, hidden mechanisms that lock doors and extinguish lights, a testament to Reed's dark history. Anticipating the elder's arrival, Bamboo in the basement pulls the carpet from beneath the door, retrieving matchsticks, her intentions cloaked in shadows. Reed returned, and the two sisters descended once more into the damp, shadowy basement. Pactor's eyes widened as he noticed the corpse's position had shifted, a subtle yet chilling indication that it had moved. He shared his unsettling observation with Bamboo, but she dismissed it, her mind fixated on igniting a matchstick to illuminate the oppressive darkness. Flames flickered to life, casting eerie shadows that danced around them. But just as they thought they might escape, the woman, now inexplicably alive, emerged from the gloom. With a voice that echoed like a distant whisper, she spoke of the afterlife, claiming, "The conductor calls me White Cloud, not heaven. They unplugged my brain." Her words hung heavy in the air, and she gestured for silence, insisting that what they perceived was not real. At that moment, Reed appeared, urgency in his stride, and ushered the woman away. He turned to Bamboo and Pactor, his eyes gleaming with a strange fervor. "Witness the miracle before you," he proclaimed, recounting how the woman had declared there was no heaven or hell in the afterlife. Reed's voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper as he explained that life was merely a simulation, a cruel game where, upon death, their minds would be severed from their bodies. He promised to reveal the true God to them, but only if they were willing to die, assuring them there was no need for fear. They would return, just as the woman had. He spoke of religion as a construct built on fear. Fear of God, fear of the afterlife, fear of purpose, and claimed to hold the answers to all their questions. Bamboo, however, was not swayed. "You've done nothing miraculous, Reed. This is just a trick, a sleight of hand. That woman likely experienced a near-death episode, and everyone who does says the same things." Her voice trembled, caught between disbelief and the chilling reality surrounding them. In the dim recesses of her mind, Bamboo often found herself enveloped in a blinding white light, a haze reminiscent of clouds. This ethereal vision was not a gift, but a cruel trick of her brain, starved of oxygen and clarity, conjuring illusions in its desperate state. Bamboo had learned this dark truth at the tender age of 4, when a fateful visit to Taco Bell nearly claimed her life. An E. coli outbreak had swept through, leaving 50 victims hospitalized, and during a harrowing surgery on her kidney, she slipped into the void, clinically dead, suspended in the chilling embrace of the ND phase. Yet she returned, earning the cruel nickname Taco Hell from the other children. Despite her brush with death, Bamboo's trust in Reed was as fragile as glass, her faith in her beliefs unyielding. Tensions flared as they argued, Bamboo repeatedly uttering the phrase, "magic underwear," a cryptic message meant for Paxson, who stood by with a letter opener. In a moment of betrayal, Reed lunged with a knife, silencing Bamboo before she could finish her warning. The horror unfolded as Paxson watched, paralyzed by the gruesome scene. When Bamboo lay still, Reed, with a twisted grin, sliced open her face, revealing a metallic implant nestled within. "Sister Bamboo is merely a program," Reed declared, a sinister glint in his eye. Paxson, lost in confusion, struggled to grasp the implications of Reed's words. Reed introduced a perplexing notion known as the butterfly dream, a philosophical riddle posed by a Chinese thinker, questioning whether he was a man dreaming of a butterfly or a butterfly dreaming of humanity. As the chilling narrative unfolded, Paxson felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down, the line between reality and illusion blurring into a nightmarish haze. By the film's end, the truth would emerge, but for now, the haunting echoes of the butterfly dream lingered, ensnaring them all in its web of dread. As the story progresses, Young-ji attempts to convey this unsettling revelation to Paxson, who is caught in the throes of a chilling realization. Bamboo, before her demise, had urged Paxson to confront Reed, igniting a spark of defiance within her. Paxson, once silenced by fear, now challenges Reed's assertions, revealing her sharp intellect. She boldly declares that the metal extracted from the bamboo mango is not a microchip, but rather a contraceptive implant, a revelation that sends shivers down their spines. Reed, now aware of the implications, is left to ponder the dark secrets hidden beneath the surface of their reality. Paxson remains steadfast in her disbelief of the simulation hypothesis, convinced that the woman who recently died and returned was merely a trick orchestrated by Reed. When the first woman perished, the elder had appeared at their door, and the sisters, in a frenzy, rushed to the basement. Their screams echoed as the meth stick began to ring, signaling the grim exchange that took place through a hidden door in the basement. A living woman, eerily similar in appearance, had taken the place of the deceased. Paxson, ever observant, had discovered the secret door concealed beneath a table, realizing that the body swap had occurred through this very passage. She recalled her earlier assertion that the positioning of the body had seemed off. After the switch, the woman, now alive, had been compelled to utter the conductor's name, White Cloud, but she strayed from the script, warning them of the deception. This revelation disrupted Reed's carefully laid plans, prompting him to pivot and sell Paxson on the idea of a simulation. Yet Paxson remained unconvinced. Intrigued by her skepticism, Reed urged her to descend into the cellar through the hidden door, promising that there she would uncover the one true religion. As Paxson ventured into the cellar, she was met with a chilling sight. Countless lifeless bodies strewn about. The air was thick with despair, adorned with grotesque religious symbols and ritualistic setups. At the final door, she spotted her bike lock, and with the key from her pocket, she unlocked it, revealing a room filled with women trapped in cages. Their conditions were dire, suffering in the frigid, damp air, and Paxson's heart ached for them. Just then, Reed emerged from the shadows, inquiring if she had unraveled the mystery of the one true religion lurking in the darkness. In the chilling shadows of their twisted reality, Paxson uncovered the sinister truth. Reed had orchestrated every detail from the very start. It all began when Paxson and Bamboo arrived, only to have Reed snatch their coats, pilfering the bike lock key from Bamboo's pocket. With a calculated precision, he concealed their bikes from the main gate, knowing full well that, when he sought the elder sisters, no trace of their escape should remain. As the snow fell, Paxson felt the dampness in his hair, a reminder of the cold world outside. While Reed returned, his intentions cloaked in darkness. Reed's malevolence ran deeper than mere manipulation. He had already resolved to eliminate Bamboo, drawing Paxson into a deadly game. Every move was meticulously planned, leading Paxson to stand precisely where Reed desired, a pawn in a grand design. To Reed, the ultimate truth lay in control, a twisted theology where dominion over others was the highest calling. He reveled in the power he wielded, believing that the true essence of faith was to dominate the vulnerable. Reed's philosophy was as chilling as it was profound. He kept the women in a state of despair, for it was far easier to manipulate those who had lost everything. In the aftermath of calamity, when souls were raw and exposed, he would offer them false hope, much like the religious figures who distribute sacred texts in times of crisis. He thrived on their fragility, knowing that in their darkest moments, they were ripe for control. The woman who perished after consuming the pie had clung to the delusion of resurrection, perhaps a cruel trick Reed had played, convincing her of miracles through deception. In a final act of torment, he had even injured her finger, a grim signal to Paxson, a reminder of the script they were all bound to follow. Reed confronted Paxson, his voice dripping with disdain, as he declared that the pious dictate every aspect of existence, who to worship, what to wear, and the very essence of right and wrong. You've allowed them to control your life, even down to your so-called magic underwear. At the mention of this absurdity, Paxson snapped, lunging at Reed with a bottle opener, a desperate weapon in a world gone mad. With a wild heart, Paxson fled, racing to the upper room where shadows whispered of Dante's Inferno. In the dimly lit basement, Paxson was searching for Bamboo, but instead encountered Reed, holding a knife. Reed approached with intent, and in a sudden turn of events, Paxson was wounded. As she fell to the ground, Reed spoke softly, "Pray for us." Amid her pain, Paxson recalled the Great Prayer Experiment, a study exploring the power of prayer, where participants were divided into two groups, one receiving prayers alongside treatment and the other receiving treatment alone. The results had been inconclusive, but for Paxson, praying brought a fleeting sense of calm in the chaos. Remarkably, even Reed seemed momentarily affected by the tranquility of her prayer. The moment of peace was quickly interrupted as Reed moved closer. Suddenly, Bamboo emerged from the shadows, holding a wooden stake she had crafted as a tool for defense. With courage, Bamboo intervened, protecting Paxson and preventing further harm. Both Bamboo and Reed were left gravely injured during the encounter. Summoning all her strength, Paxson rose to her feet and found a model of the house, revealing a hidden vent that could lead to the outside. Driven by determination, she made her way through the vent and emerged into the cold wilderness. As the storm raged, a butterfly landed gently on her hand before disappearing into the snow, leaving her in reflective silence. And so, the gripping story of Heretic comes to a quiet close. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking stories. Share your views in the comments below, and let's discuss.